Hello everyone, welcome to Dilato. My name's Carl, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how when I first started my Dilato journey, I went from, as you can see behind me, 0 sales to 3,500 in the last 6 months. Now if you stay around to the end of this video, you will see my current results right up to the middle of July, and we'll see how much more profit or not profit I've made, so make sure you stick around for that. So first off, how did I find Dilato? Well, I have my own channel, and on that channel, I was looking at different avenues, like most people, like probably how you find this video, of making money online. And dropshipping popped up quite a few times. And I had seen a few videos just about Dilato, dropshipping from Amazon to eBay, and you making the profits in between. Now, I was very skeptical, that's me as a person, but sometimes you have to try it to see for yourself, and that's what I done. And as you can see, it paid off for me because I went from 0 sales to 3,500 in the last 6 months. Now, it is fully passive. Well, sorry, that's a lie. That's a complete lie. It's not fully passive, but you have a little bit of work you can do in the morning or in the evening to get to these kind of sales. What I simply do in the morning, I get up, I go on, I check, log into Dilato, I go to my inventory, I update my prices, it updates it in minutes on eBay, and then at the end of the night, you can come along and sort your sales out before you go to bed. You can do whatever you want during the day, and if you have more time to put into it, it's like any business you want to start, the more you can put in, the more you'll get back. I personally was very, very lazy, especially at the start, and I was only using the ASINs I was given. But then after, I think it was December, where you can see where I actually grew here, I bought the gold ASINs from Dilato. And by doing that, they gave me a load of ASINs that I was able to add on to my listings. And I was able just to keep growing each and every single month. And that's all I've been doing, is pretty much up until the last month, I have just been buying gold ASINs from Dilato and using those. And you can do that. Other people who really want to invest into this, they would go on, do their own product research, find good products on Amazon to sell well on eBay, and you can do that. And you can really drive those sales even higher. But for me, and maybe most people out there, they don't want to spend that much time on it. Buying the gold ASINs worked the treat for me. Now, Dilato will give you free ASINs when you first sign up for your first account, so you're not going to be left with nothing, and it's a great way to start. Now, if we go over to here, I'm going to go over to my eBay. We're going to look at my performances and sales. So let me scroll up a bit here, and there we go. That's the report from the 1st of January this year up until the 17th of July, and that's my total sales so far. This is after eBay takes their costs, and this was my net profit from eBay. Now, obviously, that's not my profit because we then have to go over to Amazon and purchase the products from there. And I have a separate Excel sheet that I've been marking everything down, every sale I've ever done. It took me a couple of months to realize, I should be keeping track of this. And I had to manually go in and do like a couple hundred sales and manually find them and put them all in. So I would advise, if you can, do an Excel sheet from the start and to keep track of how much you're making, and you will make. But that is my total sales. Now, if we go here and we'll look at my monthly limits, okay? So my monthly limits, when I first started on eBay, I had an account. I've had this account probably 10 years. I have no idea actually how long. I've had it for a long time. And I sold a few personal items here and there. If I wanted to sell a camera, for example, I was sold it on eBay. So I already had a wee bit of sales history. Some people aren't that fortunate. You could be starting up eBay at the start, so it will be slower to increase your limits. I now, after 6 months, have 8,800 items that I'm allowed to sell and a £207,000 limit. So a few people have always asked, it's really hard when they sign up, I've only got 200 listings. That will grow as long as you're doing everything by the book. So what I'm going to give you is some of my advice, some of the things I've learned since I started. And what the best thing possibly that there is about Dilato is the support network. Because if you go over to the Discord group, any question, no matter how silly you think it is, put it in there and somebody will have experienced it. I'll address a few of those common questions now, if you're worried about it. A lot of people would say, oh, what happens if people see that it comes from Amazon? You've seen my sales, and not once have I had that. There was one feedback said it came from Amazon, and the simple thing I would reply, and what we would tell people in the group or in the Discord, is you keep various stock around the place and some in the Amazon warehouse, and you've shipped it from there because it was going to be the easiest, or it was the only stock you had left. So that helps that one. Other people have asked, what about returns? Returns was probably the biggest thing I was worried about at the start. And once you've done it a few times, it's really simple. It is just a case of either getting the customer to send the product back to you by giving them a QR code that Amazon's given you. They would go around to the post office, they would scan the QR code, return it, and then Amazon gives you the money, and you simply, once it's returned, and you return the buyer. And it's easy like that. Best thing I can advise, treat this like a business. Don't think of it as just a quick get rich quick scheme. Try and get that out. These are people, if they send you a message, reply, be courteous, try to work with them, because feedback helps. You want to keep your seller level really high, so try to work with them as best as possible. The second thing I would say is ship your items as soon as possible, i.e. that night. One, you're going to get the item sent out the next day usually, as long as Amazon allows that, but I will tell you when you go to checkout. But two, the price can change. That is a biggest thing I learned at the start, because I've seen me leave it to the next morning and I go over to Amazon and the price has changed, but because I didn't send it at the right time. So you want to send it pretty much that day if you can. And yeah, I pretty much learned that the hard way twice, and I said no more. So where I've had to go back to the client and just say, I'm sorry, the item was damaged, I've no more left, and I had to cancel the order. And you don't want to be doing that a lot. You really don't. So that's why it's important to keep ahead of that. Let's go over, we'll have a wee look at my spreadsheet here. So actually, we go back to my sales, you can see £14,641. Yeah. So I'm going to get up my sheet. So this is mine. So there's my actual profit, £1,590. Now I have my profit margin set at 10%. And if you do maths really quickly in your head, you're thinking, well, it says say you've got 1,590. But, if 10% of 14,641, that's not that. Simple reason for that, and especially the last couple of weeks, has been great for that, is, we'll get this back up again, Prime Day or Amazon vouchers. They're like the wee bonuses you get, and it's one of my favorite things when I over to find a product on Amazon and you see a 20% voucher. So that's an extra 20% you're getting on top of the 10% you're already set. So it's 30% profit you're getting. I could probably go in here. I've minimized all my ASINs because they're mine. You're not stealing them. But you can see some of my profit levels on a few items. Like there's one there where it was £8 profit. Even today, $6.50 and $3.24. And there was a couple over Prime Day. These were the ones. £19 profit, £18 profit that I would not normally get, but because it was such a good deal on Amazon. There's one there where it actually broke even because, again, I waited till the next day because it was a holiday period here and a few beers and yeah. So, but there's one as well, £10 profit, which you shouldn't be expecting that. You should be only expecting around £3.60 profit there. Okay. But £1,590. Now let's look at my sales each month, because in November, as I said, I did very little. I was lazy. I was still unsure. Then December came and I got a few sales and it really piqued my interest. I was like, right, okay. So I started working more on it, which in January I did. I added more gold ASINs, got more listings added to my eBay because my listings had been increased. Another thing to remember is start off slow. Don't throw a whole load of ASINs on at once. Gradually just add them on, okay? So January, my sales went way up, and that was £112 I got for doing very little work. And that's a nice bonus, especially after Christmas. It was great. I was like, okay, I'm happy with this. Let's see if we can keep going. And we did. In February, my total eBay sales increased again. I had £137. In March, it increased even more, an extra £700 nearly in sales. And that got me £236.20 in profit. Now remember, this is some months there, for example, I said I bought items, but they could have vouchers on and you can make more profit that month. So if we look on further down here, there's April, we're at 2,400, which is £600 worth more sales, but only made £70 more profit. But when we compare that to May, I made even less profit. So April was actually a really good month, and I remember there was quite a lot of offers on. June, I increased my sales yet again to £3,029, £254 profit that month. And already I have surpassed my profit from last month, and we are 17 days in to July. So that's £256 I've already made in the first 17 days. I'm hoping that I can get that up to close to 400, and I aim to be adding on more ASINs. Another thing as well was in May and June, I was away on holiday for a while, so I also didn't increase my listings. So it sort of makes sense. This sort of stayed similar. So what I've done this month, I have added on more listings, and I really fine-tuned them more. So any listings that weren't getting any views or sales, I went in and I deleted them off. And there's loads of guides on Dilato on how to do this. And it can be like any software or any system you're coming up to do the first time. You're going to be a bit wary or scared to do something wrong. So take your time. If you're not sure, always ask a question and reach out. But this has been great. I am looking forward to Christmas this year. I am saving all my profits, and I'm just using that to pay for lots of presents for my kids and family. And again, it's a passive income in the sense of I have to do very little. I'm not working 24 hours a day, trying to earn some money here. This is a max an hour each day. If I'm lucky, by the time I go on and do the orders and, update my listings, it's that simple. So this has been my journey. So if you have any questions at all, please leave a comment down below. And if this has been helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, the link will be down below as well to sign up. And we'll hopefully see you in the Discord. Bye now.